Today I will be changing out my side curtain airbags. I do have replacement airbags, and what I need to do is take out my headliner. So this is all about removing the headliner and removing the side curtain airbags. 2011 Ford Explorer. So the nice thing about having blown airbags, quote unquote nice thing if I can say that loosely, is that it's already popped on the edges. You know, your curtains normally would be down. I just kind of push them back up. You already have them released from your pillars. You know, visor's in the way here. You move that up. It's already released from the pillars. So really all you got to do is get the visors out of the way and the pillars in the back, because it doesn't pop out in the back, but it definitely does the side, and in my particular case it did not do the driver's side one, but that's okay. Here's how easy it is to pull these pillars off. On the side ones are easy, they just pull. So that's it. It's little tabs in there. Just pull it out, straight out. Carefully, take your time. You don't want to break anything. You don't want to have to end up on eBay buying stuff that, you know, you could have easily avoided if you knew, which is part of the reason why I do these videos, is so that it shows you a simple way of how to do it, as well as show you the clips that are involved. See that little clip in there? So I already know by the direction of I need to pull that straight out. So I'm going to continue pulling forward to get that straight out. So as I see here, it's kind of snagging a little bit in there, so I'm going to give it a little boost from the underside to get that out. I'm pushing it in basically with my fingers because I'm using the camera died on me, but got it out now. Pretty easy. It's just a few tabs that are in there, so you would just be pulling it straight out. At the bottom there's a couple little tabs, has a little slight angle to that one, so what you end up doing is you want to go up and then pull it towards you to get that out, and then the installation will be the reverse. On the visors, these are just T20s that are in there, but there's a cover that's on. You use a flat screwdriver and just carefully pry it. Screwdriver or a panel pry tool. Panel pry tool will probably be better because the plastic will be less likely to scratch your headliner. But you just pry down slightly and that kind of pops off. It's got a little split on it, but since you have the sliding visors, I just slid it down and then slid it over. And then you can access from under the two holes to undo the 20. And then the other one also is a 20. I've already taken it off. So it's just like this. It's a T20 also. Easy enough to just unscrew that. Now, here's the cool part. Once you get the 4 points of your visors off, and if your other side is already dropped, then it's pretty much coming down, which is what's happening to me right now. You do not have to unplug this as of yet, so the wire's hanging down there. What I did was just kind of pushed it in and turned it so that it kind of holds on until I can get to the other side. So basically, on the other side of it, I remember it's deployed airbag, so on the other side of it, there you are. You're gonna have your little clips, I should say, connector. So I can unplug this connector and the one on the other side as well. Unplug those two connectors, and then I'll be able to pull out my visors. And then as you see, because most of my pieces were already popped from the airbags deploying, the whole thing pretty much just drops down. Now that cable right there, let's see if I can zoom in, is for the water, if I remember correctly. Somebody showing on another video, and there's a little clamp on that to release it. I will go ahead and undo the pillar cover on that side as well, so I can get to the screws and bolts on that side. So headliner drops down, and then you've got this for the washer. It's basically really easy. It's just that little clamp right there. That's all it is. That little clamp. So That's what holds it together. All you do is just kind of open it a little bit and it slides right out. Easy. Yep, a little water, no big deal. Alright, so you do that to the other side as well so you can take the headliner. Now, in the back portion, you've got, like on this side for example, this one that you'll need to take out from both sides if your airbag didn't pop. Now on this side my airbag popped, and on the other side I already had it out because remember my last project was doing the camera, the backup camera install, so that's why this is still out. What I've discovered from taking this one out is what you do. As the example, you've got your little cargo hook holders. These basically unscrew out. Just take your time with it, you know, little tension. These will screw out on both sides, top and bottom. Once you screw that out, you'll be able to pull that open. Once you pull that open, you'll be able to access the one screw that's holding in there, and that screw to give you, aside from the other side, pull this up, see right there, so this one would have been up like that, you know, and it's got that screw which basically would have been in here. So you want to pull that out enough. If you got a small socket driver that you'll be able to get into the hole and unscrew that, that would be perfect, because it basically just sits in there. Once you get that off, you'll be able to just slide it down. You can keep it on the seat belt because you're just moving it out of your way so that you can release the top part. I think what I'm also going to do is I'm not going to take out everything all at once and then replace it. I think I'm going to do it the smart way. I'm going to take down and replace at the same time. So as I take one screw down, I'm going to replace the new one in its place, so it'll be kind of like snaking itself out. But it really seems like it's just a few bolts, a few clips right here. Looks like a little anchor, you know, and it really looks like a very straightforward, easy project. Technically probably didn't even need a video for it, but to be honest, having a video to see how it's done will help you be more confident in getting it done yourself. Oh, word to note, what holds it to the roof? Magnets. So what sometimes may happen as you're releasing it is the magnets will stay on the roof. No big deal. You can slide and pull it off, and then you'll see the little holders, the clamp holders like that. So it's like a little slot. Just slide it back in there. Okay? Before you put it back up, just check for all your magnets, which all of my center ones stayed up. And I'm just going to slide them back in their little slots, and then it'll go back in place. Easy enough to hold onto the roof. I like this design. It's kind of cool. See what happens in what, 20-30 years if the magnets are still strong enough though, right? So I'm going to go ahead and pull the other side of my pillar cover in the front, which should be, I think, fairly easy. You've got these little handle over here, and it's got a cover. Yep, sure enough. Oh, it's got a little holder. I like that, so you don't lose it. That's cool. Alright, I'm going to check inside of there, see what kind of connector that is. But before I get into that, let's take apart this so that it's out of my way. Looks like it's just a push button tab to release. So the button is right there. Push that and pull the connector and it disassembles. So now I can safely take this and set it down so it can be out of my way and not damage the wires or anything else. Alright. Alright, sorry my car's dirty. I had come from the grocery store. So I've still got my groceries in here. I was so excited to get this started before it got too dark. Alright, so these are not T's in there, that's for sure. Alright, 9:30 seconds. So I'm just get in there and yeah, 9:30 seconds. Yep. So I'm going to take both of this off and then see if that's going to allow a release. Alright, so when you take these screws out, There's so many different sizes and so many different places. Yeah, you can drop it in a bucket or put it someplace and hopefully don't lose it. But in this particular case, in some cases in general, it will hold it within itself. So I'll usually have the part and leave the screws in as a way to know exactly where everything goes. So I'm just going to put this back into the hole. I'm not going to thread it in though, but since it's got this little cap cover on it, I'm going to basically close it back up to hold on to that screw for me later, so I don't have to look for it. I already know it's going to be in the handle. So that's going to be pretty awesome, right? And I'm going to do the same thing at the top, and then I'm going to take this handle off. Alright, so pretty straightforward. I just kind of put them back in there, put the little caps on so it holds the screws. Now I can just set the handle and less likely to lose the handle, and definitely won't lose the screws that go with it or put the wrong screws in the wrong place. So that's ready to go. Now let's see if it's just like the other side. Let me grab it from the top here and just pull it straight out. Yep, sure enough, just pulls out. Pulls out. Just like in the other side, the bottom comes up a little bit. Once you get it up, you're going to pull it towards the passenger compartment. So this will be, in this case, towards me, like that. Let's see if it has a little hook on there, just like the other side. Very carefully, take your time with it, take your time with it, and it'll come out, okay? Easy enough. Now this one either has come out before or it doesn't have a hook like the other side. Yep, it just goes straight. The other side has more of a hook on it. Hey, now you know, now I know. Alright, easy access to more of the connection pieces. So there's an anchor down there, so I definitely needed to take this pillar out so I can get to that anchor. Alright, over here we've got this wire. And that's the tubing like the other side, so it goes down. Little clamp, we're going to open it up to release it. And then it's got these clips in place, so we're going to pop it out of these clips, and then that way it'll release this one. It looks like a wire, but actually it's a tube. This is the little clamps that's holding that in. So you can just push it from the other side, yeah? There's one here, and there's one there, and then that'll release the tube. So we're going to push those out. Come back over to the driver's side. Now you've got the wire here. Oops, sorry. The wire here, which is what connects to your lights apparently in your headliner. Unplugging this. Easy enough. You've got little tabs here. Just get your panel puller and just pry it out of its spot. So that basically just kind of sits in there like that. So they'll just pry out easy enough, no big deal. And now that's able to come down with my headliner. And which I can see what else is there to pull out. Let's go in the back and check it out. Alright, I think I've got everything disconnected. I see nothing else hanging down in the front. Both sides of the front looks clear. I can see all the way out. This looks good. I've already disconnected this hose by releasing the clamp. Alright, so I'm just going to pull it out slowly. Get it around my seat belts, of course. Get a little bit of an angle. It doesn't fit perfectly out as I see right here. Not as easy as I thought it would be to take out this headliner, so I'm just going to leave it in, let it go to its lowest points. My third row seats are down, folded. My second row seats are folded down, so I've got it down about as low as I can go. So what I've done is I've taken my passenger side airbag that I'm going to do first, just because it's easier on this side, and I've kind of laid it across my headliner to check all my bolt attachments and see where everything connects to. And even though this comes from, I think, a 2013 or 15, I think it was a 2013 or 14 Explorer, looks like everything is lining up. This one is lining up with that one. This little piece right here seems to be lining up with the one on that end, and looks like I've got a hole right there to which That's the other side that's underneath that needs to be mounted. And I think I can access all my bolts from the doors. So I'm going to just start from back here, doing this one. I'll get that out the way. Doing this one, which will be this one, and work my way up. That one, easy enough. When it releases, it detaches, but you can see the pieces that are left to be able to reline everything up. So again, this is like how I like to take it apart and put together as I go, instead of taking it all apart and then trying to put it back together and maybe miss something, which I wouldn't have seen that piece as being originally this one. Possibly I wouldn't have. My plug, hopefully it's the same that's plugged into here. That's my only concern at this time for my harness. So let's go ahead and take a look at that now while I'm here and see what we get. So where's my squeeze buttons? There it is. So that's a little pull tab that slides up, and then you can kind of wiggle it out. And from the looks of it, yes, it's the same connector. I am stoked. This is going to be easy fix. Well, relatively speaking. I had to give you guys a quick note. So, as you're releasing the pieces and you're going across, so this was, you know, eventually up here. There's little tabs, which is really cool, like this one on the airbag, which helps to hold everything in place as you're going. So, when you get to the canister side of it, to which this one here is my original canister, it's got that little piece on the end there, see that? So it just slides up and in. So that little socket right there, I thought it was going to be a twist, but actually it's just a forward, plug it in, and then slide it back. So the reverse of that to take it out, easy enough. And then I've got that one more bolt, and then this side will be done. I've already started taking and doing the other ones, and they are in place. Just need to tighten those up, and I'm dropping the old one as I'm going along. Like I said, I like to take it out as I go instead of taking it all and then doing it. So far it's taken me about 15 minutes, and that's mainly because I have manual tools. So if you have a power tool, this should really not take that long at all. So just to show you here in this place, I've got this set up, and the screw goes over there. I'm just going to push it in, so let me get this lined up nicely. Good, just like that, no problem. And then I'm going to just push the tab in here in that hole to hold it so I can screw it in place. Alright, got it lined up. Sorry about that. Hard to do with one hand, you know me. Push it in just enough to hold it in place, and now I can finish putting the screw in there. And the other one I started doing, so I just need to tighten that down and then continue working my way around. And then this side, passenger side, will be done. So there it is, my replacement airbag installed. Pretty much the obvious, which is make sure you're not doing it all wobbly. Make sure it stays nice and flat as you're putting it in. So it's just a few screws, and then lining up properly, slide it in. I don't know for sure about this, but me personally, I don't want to plug in my canisters because I haven't fixed the damage on my vehicle, and I don't know exactly how the system works as far as, is it a momentary trigger and then it never triggers again, or is that thing still triggering? And I don't want to plug this in and all of a sudden this thing goes pop. So I'm going to wait until I clear my airbag light before I plug in my pieces. So for now, that's just in place and ready to be plugged in, ready to clear my codes and then be plugged in, I should say. And everything should be fine. There's the last bracket piece there. Alright, so that's the passenger side. I'm going to go ahead and do the driver side later. It's getting a little late right now. So I'm gonna go have dinner, do this passenger side, so you're not gonna have any need to see that. It's pretty much the same technique as used on the driver's side, okay? And then put this headliner back up and in. Oh, here's a tip for you. So what I did to give me some extra room in the beginning part of this was, hey Chris, was when I dropped down the headliner, I also slid it back a little bit. That way I'm able to sit on the seat up in between here and be able to reach all my components that are on this side a little bit easier, because the headliner is kind of slid back a little bit. So that's a nice tip. Normally it's more forward and up, of course, to give you a little extra working room. And to get to all these screws, it literally is just reaching. I've got one there, I've got one there. So you could do it from the opening of your doors. The other one's here, for example. So you can do it from the opening of the doors. You don't need to take out the headliner, which, consider how big this thing is, I'm actually pretty happy I didn't have to. The easiest way is if you have a helper to help push this up so that you can get the tabs kind of started in their little holes, and then it holds it up, and then you can go ahead and do the other pieces. After that, it just kind of falls into place. Everything reverses to going back in. Now, I'm mainly here for this little section. The nice thing about this is the material itself doesn't go down that much. So see how it's got a little give here? That's enough to get it over the edge. So it was actually pretty easy. I was afraid that I would have had to take this off, but you don't. Go ahead and let it slide up, and that little give, push, and just gently kind of push it off, and it'll tuck right in there. Alright, next part of this is I'm moving back to my pillars. Now this one, because of the ventilation being here, I had pulled away, so it should be easy to just put that in and then I can put it on top. The other side I have not, but I'll probably end up doing the same thing. I'm just going to pull it back a little bit and see if it'll slide up and in. Alright? The driver's side, back part, you've got this little hook here that more than likely it's going to need to slide into there. Nice thing is this is pliable enough where I can get just enough of a bend to tuck that in, so I'm not worried about that. What I'm going to do is try to just push this up to clear it. It's flexible material. Just take your time with it, you know. Get it past what you need it to get past. Take your time with it, and it may just go right into place. So there we are. It's going over the top. See right there? Over the edge. Like that. Very good. Very good. So I'm just kind of prying it up to get it over that edge. To get it on the other side. Nice. So that's pretty much in place. Now all I'm going to do is do that little bend tuck. So I'm just kind of grabbing it like this to kind of pull it and tuck it in. See if I can get in there to show you. To tuck it in. There we go. So now it's going to be in that little groove. It's in the groove. Excellent. And then I'm just going to push it in. Before I do that, I'm going to go ahead and pop the other side into place. And then that way I'll have a nice level set and then move my way to the back. Back driver's side rear piece. So coming from there, I'm moving my way back. So it just kind of goes into place. Now, there's a lot of play because this extends pretty far. But I'm appreciating the flexibility of the materials used and the fact that this is not really a hard, you know, original style, old school style headliner material, because it's flexible and has just enough give where in this case I'm going to pull down a little bit, but after I go up. So see how it just pushes in there to clear it, and then pulling it down to get it over the edge. So I'm just kind of pushing up and pulling out just to get it to clear. Do it carefully. You don't want to get these wrinkles. See how it does the wrinkles? That's okay, because when you let it go, it's going to release it back out. Just don't force it. Take your time with it, guys. The overlap here is not by much. As you can see, that's it. So you have a little room that you can kind of go down and do a little bend with it, you know, to get it in. Just enough, a little bend, just over that edge. See how it's got that little bend? That relaxes out and becomes smooth. So it's kind of like a plasticky material with just enough of a give. So I'm just going to get it over that little corner, which is this piece right here, where I'm at. Excellent. Bang, in place. Of course, remember all of your magnets, if they stuck to the ceiling, take them off, re-put them back into the slot, so that all you have to do as you get into place is it just will hold on. Also remember, of course, to reconnect your tubing. This one is the one for the washer fluid, so I've already reconnected that. You just plug it in, you know, the clamp stays in place, so just plug it in and it works. That side's done, all of this is done. Now this one I did take off because I was doing the camera project, adding the backup camera. So this will be very easy, as I would just kind of go in, pop it into place, replace the last screw that goes into here, and then snap everything back together and put my little cargo hook holders back into position just by twisting them in. And see that? It's just a little magnets, that's all it is. So as the pins line up and your wires are off to the side like they should be, let's push that over a tiny bit, there we go, into the groove. It just, listen, that's it, you're done. Same thing over here. That's the magnet, that's all it is. That's it, done. And then push these clamps back in place, and then of course set your rubber over your edge for the final of the clean look. You know what I mean? Alright, so that's pretty much it. I've changed up, this is my car cover. I've changed out my airbags. The ones that were blown, found some nice used ones, popped them in. Looks good, nice and clean. Put in the headliner back in place, and I'm set and ready to go to the next project. If you're watching my project, of course, this is my 2011 Ford Explorer. Thanks for watching.